new friends, all of my best friends. Previously, don't forget to subscribe, you like and sound the icon of the notification bell so you can subscribe to watch the video we will present next. Congratulations, meet with me. I hope you are all healthy always. If yesterday in the previous video we told a magnificent building in India which was very popular to be called Taj Mahal, let's now head to China to see the giant wall, including the miracle of the next world. Chinese history is one of the history of the oldest culture in the world. From the discovery of archaeology and anthropology, the Chinese region has been inhabited by ancient humans since 1.7 million years ago. Chinese civilization began with various city-countries along the Yellow River Valley in the Neolithic Age. The written history of China began since the Shang dynasty k. 1750–1045 BC. 1. The turtle shell with an ancient Chinese script from the Shang dynasty has a radiocarbon calendarbon to 1500 BC. 2. Culture, literature, and Chinese philosophy developed in the days of Zhou dynasty 1066–21 BC, who continued the Shang dynasty. The dynasty is the longest dynasty in power, and in this day of dynasties modern Chinese charges began to develop. The Zhou dynasty was divided into several city-countries, which created a period of war. In 221 BC, Qin Shi Huang brought together various royal and established the first Chinese empire. Substitution dynasty in Chinese history has developed a bureaucratic system that enables the Chinese emperor to have direct control of a large area. Conventional view of the history of China is that China is a country that experienced a change between the period of unity and political divisions that are sometimes controlled by foreign tribes non-Han, which is mostly assimilated into the Han population. The influence of culture and politics of various regions in Asia, which is brought by immigration waves, expansion, and interchangeation that is alternating, unites to form a modern Chinese culture. The history of the Chinese Great Wall began when the fort was built by various countries during the spring and autumn period, 771–476 BC. And the war state 475–221 BC, was connected by the first emperor of China, Qin Shi Huang. To protect the agency, these walls were built from compressed soil, built using a forced labor system, and in 212 BC stretched from Gansu to the southern coast of Manchuria. Dynasties then used different policies on the northern border defense. Han 202 BC 220 AD, North Qi 550–574, Church Jin 1115–1234, and especially Ming 1369–1644, is among those who rebuild, operate again, and expand walls. Han extended the farthest, the fourth farthest. She built around 1,600 kilometers (0.994 miles) of the new wall, while Sui mobilized more than 1 million people in the efforts to build their walls. In contrast, Tang 618–907, Song 960–1279, Yuan 1271–1368, and Qing 1644–1911 did not build a border wall, but select another solution to the threat of Asian nations in such camps. Although it was a useful iteration of the attack, in several periods throughout its history, the Great Wall failed to stop the enemy, including in 1644 when Qing Manchu watched through the Shanghai Track Gate and replaced the most eager to build walls, Ming, as a ruler of China. The large Chinese walls that are seen today are mostly from the Ming dynasty, because they rebuild a lot of walls with stones and bricks, often extending the lines through challenging terrain. Some parts are still in relatively good or renovated conditions, while others have been damaged or destroyed for ideological reasons, is done for their building materials, or disappearing due to time. For a long time it became an object that became an attraction for foreigners. This wall is now a respected national symbol and popular tourist attraction. The Great Wall of China is one of the stunning historical heritage. The main purpose of the construction of this super long wall is to block the enemy, but the latest research reveals other secrets behind it. The northern part of the Great Wall of China was allegedly not built in order to hold the enemy who wanted to invade China, but to oversee the movement of civilians. The Israeli researcher has mapped completely the northern part of the 740-kilometer Great Chinese Wall for the first time. Their research then found things different from the previous assumption. Before our research, most people think the purpose of this wall is to stop Genghis Khan's army, said Gideon Shalak Levi, archaeologist from Hebrew University. However, this northern line part is partly in Mongolia. The wall is relatively low, through valleys and close to the road. So it is suspected that the function is not related to the military. The construction of China's Great Walls, divided into several arenas along the thousands of kilometers, first started in the 3rd century before AD and continued for centuries. The Northern Line section, also known as Genghis Khan Wall, which is the conqueror of Mongol, built between the 11th century and 12th. To map it, scientists from Israel, Mongolia and the United States utilizing drones, high-resolution satellites and ARC devices. The Great Wall of China is often referred to as the only human-made object that is seen from outer space. Other facts related to the Large Wall of China. There are still many questions. The purpose of the construction of the Chinese Wall, for example. Or, where is the tip of the Big Wall of China? Here it is the history of the Long Wall of China. Regarding the appearance of the Great Wall of China from outer space, through the official website, NASA explained, the reality was very difficult to distinguish the Great Chinese Wall with other objects in astronaut photography. The reason, the material used in the Chinese Wall has color and texture similar to the color of the land that surrounds the wall. There is no or absence of Chinese walls from outer space, not to reduce their strength. The Great Wall of China is still an ancient fortress which has a length of more than 20,000 kilometers, which makes it the longest wall in the world. Located in northern China, the Great Wall of China is the best known symbol of China and one of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Not only the size, the Great Wall of China also has a long history. The Great Wall of China was originally built by Emperor Qin Shi Huang in the 3rd century BC. The Great Wall of China was built as a way to prevent attacks from the savage nomadic community. The most famous and most well-maintained part of the wall was built in the 14th to 17th century, which is under the government of the Ming dynasty. Although the Great Wall never effectively prevented the invaders from entering China, the wall functions as a symbol of the eternal power of Chinese civilization. Made with most land and rocks, the wall stretches from Shanhaiguan Seaport in the China Sea more than 4.8 kilometers westward, namely Gansu Province. In some strategic areas, overlapping wall parts for maximum security. As Qin Shi Huang's death and the fall of the Qin dynasty, many parts of the Chinese Wide Wall were damaged. After the fall of the Han dynasty later, a series of other nations on the border seized control in northern China. The strongest is the North Wei dynasty, which repaired and expanded the wall to defend themselves from attacks from the nations on the border. The Kingdom of Beiqi, 550 to 577, builds and repair more than 1,448 kilometers of walls. Meanwhile, the Sui dynasty, which was short-lived, 581 to 618, repaired and extended the Big Wall several times. With the fall of Sui and the rise of the Tang dynasty, the Great Wall lost his role as a fort. This is because China defeats the nation of the north and expands power to the original border that has been protected by the wall. During the Song dynasty, China was forced to withdraw under the threat of Liao and Jin people to the north, which took over many areas on both sides of the Great Wall. The strong Yuan Mongol dynasty 1206–1368, founded by Genghis Khan, finally controlled all over China and some Asians and part of Europe. Although the Great Wall was not so important for the Mongols as a military fortress, the army was still assigned to protect the wall. The wall was used to protect traders traveling along the Silk route. The form of the Great Wall as it is known currently starts around 1474. After the initial phase of the territorial expansion, the Ming ruler takes a defensive attitude and reform with the expansion of the Great Wall. The Great Wall stretched from the Yalu River in Liaoning Province to the eastern bank of the Taolai River in Gansu Province, and grabs from east to west through Liaoning, Hebei, Tianjin, Beijing, Mongolia and Shaanxi. Over the years, many roads are cut to go through walls at various points. In addition, many parts of the wall worsened after centuries were ignored. The most famous part of Friends, that's the history of the giant wall in China. If there is an error in any form, I'm sorry. If you have a historical story or a unique and interesting video that no copyright, please send via email in description. If you are a person who likes to donate to manage this YouTube channel, please transfer to PayPal in description. Thank you very much.